These are reverse bullet hell games, a brand new genre that's been blowing up this year thanks to games like Magic Survival, Survivor.io, 20 Minutes Till Dawn, and many others. I've played a lot of these games, and today I'm gonna rank the very best ones and compare them across different parameters so you can find the ones that best suit your playstyle. So be sure to subscribe for more mobile gaming content, and let's find out why millions of people play these games. Now, the reverse bullet hell genre is essentially a perfect mix of twin-stick shooters like Space Marshals, roguelike RPGs like Hero, and then traditional bullet hell games. But then this time around, we're the ones firing thousands of bullets at the enemies while they storm at us from all sides, and we just try to survive the whole thing. The first game I want to look at today is Magic Survival, which was also my introduction to the genre and the one that truly made it popular on mobile. So the core gameplay, and really the gameplay in most of these reverse bullet hell games, is that we use a single joystick to move a character around an infinitely large map, while it then automatically shoots at the enemies. Every time we level up, we get to pick one of 3 random new abilities, and before we know it, the screen is full of enemies that we constantly fire lots of powerful spells at, and the goal is then simply to survive for as long as possible. Eventually, we will die though, and we can then spend the currency we've earned through gameplay on buying permanent upgrades that make it just a bit easier to survive the next time. I know the art style doesn't impress, but the gameplay in this game is just awesome, and with so many fun abilities and over 20 classes to unlock, it also has a decent amount of replayability. Magic Survival is free to play with ads and then a free $99 in-app purchase to remove them. It does not have an energy system, there are no login rewards and the like. It just has a single game mode. It does have cloud save. We use a single joystick, the replayability is high, and it can be played offline. So overall, this is an S-tier reverse bullet hell game. The next game is 20 Minutes Till Dawn, which stands out because it's played in landscape mode, and we not only have a joystick for controlling our character, but also one for shooting, which makes the gameplay a bit more active and engaging. Another big difference between this and most of the other games we're gonna talk about today is that we not only select a character in 20 Minutes Till Dawn, but also one of several ammo-based weapons that actually have to reload when we use them, which of course makes the gameplay more challenging. But the rest of the game plays very much like Magic Survival though, with random new abilities to pick from when we level up, and enemies that storm at us while we do everything we can to stay alive, this time for either 10 or 20 minutes depending on the game mode. The art style is also just amazing in this one, and although it has less overall progression than some of the games we'll get to in a bit, it's still incredibly enjoyable, and it even features controller support. It's a $299 premium game with no energy system, none of those daily login rewards, 2 game modes, although I gotta say they're almost the same. It does have cloud save, you need 2 fingers to play it, the replayability is decently high, and it can be played offline. So I think overall this is yet another S-tier game, and I know this is a favorite of many mobile gamers out there. The next game I found was DarkSurvival, which takes us back to the portrait mode format of Magic Survival, but then adds a lot more game modes with different rules, which makes this the game with the highest replayability of any of today's games. Now, true for all of the game modes in this game is that we try to survive enemies that storm at us and then gradually acquire new abilities, just like in the other 2 games. But this time though, our starting character's weapon is melee, which means we have to get dangerously close to the enemies to attack them. But what truly sets it apart though is that there's a very high level of overall progression, because in between runs we not only unlock new heroes and upgrade their stats, but we also equip and upgrade loot for each character. The game monetizes through incentivized ads for extra rewards, a battle pass, and in-app purchases that let us progress faster. And it does also have an energy system, although we can easily play for at least an hour without running out of it. It also has lots of login rewards and daily quests and more systems like that. It features over 7 different game modes. It does have cloud save, you can control it using a single finger, the replayability is very high, and you need to be online to play it. Overall, I think this is an A-tier game, dragged down a little bit by the monetization system, even though you don't really have to engage with it. The next one is Grimnight Heroes, which definitely has the best retro art style of any of these games. The gameplay is fairly similar to DarkSurvival in the sense that our first character uses melee attacks, but when you compare it to something like Magic Survival, the abilities feel a bit underwhelming at first, which makes the gameplay somewhat slow-paced. The abilities do get a lot more exciting once we start upgrading them though, so the game gets increasingly more interesting the longer we survive in each run. Now, the primary game mode has us try to survive for 20 minutes across 7 different stages full of unique monsters and bosses, and then spend the gold we earn on buying 6 different heroes with distinct weapons. But unlike all the other games we've talked about so far, we can upgrade each of these heroes' health, damage, and speed stats individually, which I really enjoyed because it gives the game more of an RPG feel, and we can also spend the gold we've earned on one-time power-ups that make the next run a bit easier. Another thing I noticed in this game that I haven't seen in any of the other ones is that items that trigger a one-time same powerful spell when we pick them up randomly drop to the ground as we play, which makes the gameplay a bit more dynamic and interesting. And just like in 20 Minutes Till Dawn, the game even has controller support. Grimnight Heroes monetizes through incentivized ads and a few in-app purchases for more gold. It has no energy system, there are no login rewards and the like. It features 2 game modes. It has cloud save, but only on iOS though. It can be played with just a single finger. The replayability is decently high and it can be played offline. Overall, I think this is an A-tier game. Now, as the 5th game, I've got Survivor.io, which is basically a brighter and more colorful cartoony version of DarkSurvival. In fact, just like in DarkSurvival, this game has a lot of overall meta progression in the form of loot we can equip and level up and permanent upgrades. What it doesn't have though are multiple characters, which is a bit strange because most of the other games in this genre seem to have that, and it means there's a bit less variety to the gameplay. But what truly makes the game stand out is that the goal is to survive the thousands of enemies and several bosses in each chapter, so we can continue to the next, more difficult chapter, and then the next chapter, and then the next chapter, as opposed to surviving for as long as possible. And this actually creates a very nice sense of progression that makes the game feel less repetitive. But the big downside to all of this is the heavy monetization system. Survivor.io monetizes through incentivized ads and in-app purchases for items and currencies. It has an energy system that is rather limiting, by the way. There are lots of daily login rewards and the like. It features 2 game modes. It has cloud save. It's played with 1 finger. The replayability is high thanks to the progression system, and it can be played offline. Overall, I think this is a B-tier game dragged down by the monetization system. And then we go straight back to the darker games with Gothic Survival. And what I really like about this one is the pacing. It's just as fast-paced as Magic Survival or Survivor.io, but without the bad monetization systems. What truly makes this game stand out though is its focus system. And the way it works is that standing still for a few seconds puts our character in a focus state, which triggers a different effect for each hero, such as firing several fireballs or slamming a big hammer to the ground. Unlike today's other games, we also have 4 characters unlocked right from the beginning in Gothic Survival, with 5 more unlocked using the gold we earn. Now, we also spent that gold on permanent items that make it a bit easier to survive, but overall, there is a bit less meta progression in this game than most of the other games. The biggest downside though is that with enough enemies and bullets on the screen, the colors kinda start to blend, making it hard to see what's what in this game. Gothic Survival monetizes through an incentivized ad to revive and 2 in-app purchases to remove the ads or get a permanent coin doubler. It does not have an energy system, there are no login rewards and the like. It features a single game mode, it has no cloud save, it is played with a single but highly customizable joystick, the replayability is decently high, and it can be played offline. Overall, because of things like the focus system, which is a really nice feature, I think this is an A-tier game. Now, in terms of alternative to Magic Survival, I don't think you can go wrong with 20 Minutes Till Dawn and Grimnight Heroes, or DarkSurvival if you want something with more gameplay variety. Survivor.io, on the other hand, is mostly for those who want an Archero-like experience, and Gothic Survival is great, but it's also simpler than the others, so let me know which is your favorite. Now, the thing is, there are many more games similar to Magic Survival, and if you're interested in them, I suggest reading this brilliant thread over on the Android Gaming subreddit. And since you like these games, I know you're gonna love my video about the very best action roguelikes on mobile, so check that out, and until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.